Welcome to Grawlix Nights, the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? Hello, Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Helix Rock Radio at rockradio.live.
Oh, my.
What's this? I have no idea how we actually sound over there right now. Hopefully it's not too bad. But, yeah, we are doing the usual stream, but we're also doing it over... We've returned to the audio-only realm, at least over there. We're still in video here. Some of us are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is our first live stream, streaming out to the radio station. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Let me just update a thing real quick.
Click.
So while
Sorry.
you're doing that, what Helix Rock Radio, for the friends that aren't listening to us over there, that's an online radio station that is headed up by Brandon Lapani, who we've known through the podcastosphere for many a year. You do your Edge of the Abyss metal show on Friday nights. And Grawlix, we've been doing replays, but I guess tonight we are doing it live. We're doing it live.
Yep.
So if you're
We're
interested
doing
in
it
that,
live.
what is it? It's Helix Rock Radio, or it's
rockradio.live.
there. It is. There it is.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, I've noticed his original vision for the radio station was a mix of rock music and talk, podcasts, because he's
Rock
also
and talk.
rock and talk, and I think it was really, people are like, yeah, rock music, I'll do that. And he wasn't getting a lot of the podcasts I think he had originally envisioned. And but lately I've noticed he's got some new shows. He's got a show, I'm sorry, the name escapes me, but Saturday night I was listening to a little bit, kind of like it's not spooky, but UFO talk maybe a little bit, like some good late Saturday night talk.
Is that a little bit of Art Bell paranormal stuff?
Right. And he's convinced me to give. I mean, we're streaming every Thursday anyway. Might as well shoot it out to Helix Rock Radio as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be live on Helix Rock Radio every Thursday and Friday nights at 8 p.m. Central. So,
oh well, there you go.
Cool.
that's what I do with my time. But what do we do here on on this show with our time? We talk TV and movie stuff, and tonight the TV and movie stuff it's going to be TV. It's Doctor Who. Listen.
Yeah.
The upside to going out to the radio station tonight is that I like that we're able to talk Doctor Who, new episode every week. We did it all through Chibnall's run. But it does kind of suck that we talk about it Thursday night. The new episode drops Friday. So, everything we said, especially with the way RTD's been doing it, where it's like mysteries. Everything we say is irrelevant less than 24 hours after we do the stream. So,
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, since Doctor Who is going to be wrapping up this Friday, at least for this season, the other shows are starting to pick up too, right? So now the brand new episode of The Boys will be going up on Thursdays. So if we talk about that, we'll likely be an episode behind unless we get a chance to watch the new one as it drops.
I was wrong before when I said I haven't really watched anything this week. We watched the first 3 episodes, Melanie, I think.
Oh, okay.
At least 2. Maybe.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes of the new season of The Boys.
There's only 3 out.
Right.
Today, the 4th one drops. So
Okay. Oh, even
And then,
better, talking about last week's episode when the new one's airing.
right. And then House of a Thousand Thrones, House of a Thousand Dragon
Yeah.
Corpses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it just one episode of that
Just
yet?
one episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't scoped that out yet.
We got to fire up the old Maxitron again.
Yeah.
I know.
Uh,
What am I gonna cancel? I'm at that point where
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know.
if I pick up a service, I gotta get rid of one. I got too many.
Playing Jenga with the streaming services, eh?
Yep.
Lest your bank account falls down.
Right.
Uh-huh. Earlier today, I was watching a YouTube channel, and the host started talking about Paper Girls, and I was like, "Oh, I've read some of that."
Yeah.
What were you watching?
They were
on
talking
YouTube
about
where
the
they were talking
actual
about
book.
Paper Girl?
I was like, yeah, because they canceled it, didn't they? Like Amazon
Yeah, no,
didn't.
he was talking
even-
about the book. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I was to say because Amazon didn't even renew that. And it's like they've got Amazon money. They don't even have the Netflix problem.
yeah. So, yeah.
But first,
Sorry.
no. How are you two doing? My usual like opening show shtick is all thrown off this episode.
We had an extra shtick, an extra layer of shtick, a shtick
Yeah.
layer, if
Yeah.
you will.
It's getting real. It's getting the shtick is too
Real
thick.
sticky in here.
Yep.
Cool. if I had listen, I didn't have cred over on Edge of the Abyss, but if I did, it's gone. It's gonna be gone.
That's right. That's okay.
But to be honest, this is on. I'm on par. Over there as my performance is pretty much the same. I don't change.
Yeah. You're authentic. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
That's the thing.
yeah.
You're just not lying to anybody.
Authenticity is key, unless you're
Yeah.
one of the people that preaches authenticity being key, and then you're probably full of crap.
That's true.
That's what I
Yeah.
found.
It's a good go-to for people who don't have any.
Yeah.
Right.
Just to be like, just be real.
Yeah.
What you guys watch anything other than Doctor Who? We're gonna get to that. I don't think we have a super long show for you tonight, which is the famous last words every time. That's
Right.
doom. That marks doom for us. You guys watch anything else exciting before we jump into Doctor Who?
Well, I did watch the first episode of House of a Dragon Throne. And it was good. I mean, it's what you would expect. It's basically like resetting the scene for everybody because it's been forever and so many things happen in a Game of Thrones verse
Yeah.
that you kind of have to like slowly wade into the pool kind of thing and get adjusted. Because I know even just watching the recap, my wife Holly, she's like, I don't remember any of this. And so like even when like the eldest boy comes in and is like giving the report and he's like biting back the tears and she's like, did he know him? I was like, that's his brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, and I can't blame her because that's the way it is. You know, it's like
Yeah.
there's
I
so many
remember.
characters, it's hard to remember.
Yeah. But that was a big event, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some like wasn't that season like I think that's a problem with shorter seasons and longer times between seasons.
Mm-hmm.
The show might still be great, but it just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't
It's
stick.
like you got to rewatch the whole show just so you can remember
Yeah.
what's going on. And with a show like this that's so heavily steeped in like lore, like the whole point of this show in particular is it's built on lore. You know, like lore that was just kind of like breezed over in the books, and it's like
Yeah.
that's what this whole series is about.
Yeah. It's weird that they work backwards to me. Why didn't
Yeah.
they start with the first book and then work up to Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Or,
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
I suppose
whatever.
they just took the best stuff, made an audience. You know, they needed to have that proof of concept, and then they can go
Yeah, I
back and
guess
do
so.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
I didn't watch anything besides stuff we'll talk about later.
Right. A couple episodes. We watched a couple episodes of The Boys, and we'll dive into that further, I'm sure, later. But on a later episode, perhaps catching up when we are somewhat more current on it. But So far, it's The Boys. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. It's not even really worth taking the time to talk about it, but just like the smear campaign, essentially, just all the headlines of it's become the thing it used to make fun of.
Didn't even know. I just assumed. I assumed there was something that was like somebody was mad because it makes it makes no I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but it doesn't pull any punches. It's very obvious. There's no like hidden allegory here. It's like this is the Homelander crew or Team Homelander or whatever. Like they wear red hats.
Right. It's not like it wasn't obvious before, but it wasn't so blatantly on the nose. I just can't envision being the kind of person who would be so upset by that, not having a clue up until this season, apparently.
Yeah.
Like I just.
Oh, you thought you were the boys?
It doesn't,
Right.
it
Is
doesn't
that
Right.
who you
surprise me.
identified with?
It doesn't surprise me though, because like you remember that one Netflix movie that was really big for a minute, the Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There
yeah.
are people who think that it is that they are. There are people on both sides who think that movie is about them, and I don't understand how the one side can have how they can imagine that that's them, but they do, and it's weird to me. So yeah, I can see it because people are not bright.
We don't have to. Don't worry. Hey, Chicago Faucet, what's going on? And I wanted to say, don't worry, Brandon. We don't go full political most of the time, but
No. But if you're going to talk about the boys
it's relevant.
this season, you really
It's
can't
relevant.
avoid it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to be careful where I mute myself. I have a couple places I can mute myself, but only one gets me everywhere. So, Chicago Faucet, what's going on? Glad to have you here.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't Chicago Faucet have a podcast in the northwestern region?
Do they? I don't know.
Oh, maybe I'm crazy.
I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter because
Talking
we're
about
not in the
Troll
northwestern.
2 again. We're all, anytime we can talk about Troll 2, we do.
Okay.
Not
most
Trolls 2, but Troll 2.
Troll 2. Is Troll 2
Is it really
political?
Troll 2?
Is it political? I don't think so. I think it's isn't it considered one of the worst movies of all time? I don't think that's possible. Like, I mean, I've seen Hell Goes to Frogtown with Roddy Piper, where he talks to frogs. So, like, Troll 2 can't be the worst.
That's the thing, right? Like, I don't know. I've never watched it, so I'm not gonna say. I can't say. I haven't watched it, but I've seen a lot of YouTube videos about it because that's like that kind of channels that cover that kind of junk is my jam, and it looks pretty bad. But for ages, Plan 9 from Outer Space was the worst movie ever made, and it's not good. But the worst, I don't know. Like, it's cheap, it's nonsensical, but I don't know. Even when it was considered the worst, I was like, I don't know that that's the worst.
I've seen the worst. I don't remember what it's called, but it's got alien vagina monsters, zombies. I don't really understand it. No one does because it's a piece of crap that somebody made for their girlfriend or something. I don't know.
I can't remember the name of it. We rented it once.
Horrible.
It is like shot on video, which we've like there's good shot on video, ultra low budget movies out there. We had rented one ages ago, back when that was a thing you do, like physically go rent a movie, and it was pretty good. But man,
it
this
was
zombie.
Great. That was a great movie. I know which one you're talking about. That was a great movie. It was the cheapest looking movie I've ever seen, but it was fantastically done, and it was a great story. I was amazed. But no, that one, the one I was just talking about, the alien vagina zombies, either that or the one with the cow zombies, the baby cows. You Remember that one? That was crap too.
The cow one wasn't too bad. This is not going to do anybody any good because we can't remember the name. But I actually like took quite a while one night trying to like searching online to figure out what the name of this movie was, and I had found it, and it's gone again. But just as well. Chicago Faucet says there are Thanksgiving horror movies called Turkey. That's also the other problem with like the worst movie ever made now is there's an ocean of movies where they just Birdemic kind of kicked it off. I feel like where they don't. The goal is just to be awful and to churn out a bunch of crap. Like
say, Thanksgiving that's classic right there.
I watched. Dive into the Amityville movies. Oh. There was the original Amityville series, but Amityville. The term, the word, you can't copyright that. Anyone can make a whatever Amityville or Amityville whatever movie, which means there's like a small industry of dudes cranking 3 of them out in a year to flood streaming services, and those look truly.
And are
terrible.
They all about a house?
No, some of them aren't really about any Amityville anything. It's just you could slap a name on whatever junk.
Okay.
So
people love those baby oopsie movies too.
They should do an Amityville turkey movie. That'd be great.
It might exist.
Amityville
it might exist already.
Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for in Amityville? Being alive, not being dead. Maybe you wish you were dead if you live there.
I'm grateful for the gates of hell in my basement. Yeah.
That's you know, they'll do it.
Amityville Turkey Day 2024 is when it came out. I'm telling you, there are so many Amityville movies. You just throw any word to it and it exists already.
All right.
Amityville Thanksgiving, that exists already. That's separate of Amityville Turkey Day.
Oh no, those aren't even the same.
No, Amityville Thanksgiving was 2 years ago. 2022, that was released.
Oh, that's why they had to go with Turkey Day because Thanksgiving was already taken.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it.
That's the thing. There's so many. You can't do Amityville Thanksgiving. It's done. It's been done.
Ooh,
it's
what about
done.
How about Amityville Thing?
Amityville Thing. So are we talking like a
like Kurt Russell goes to Amityville instead of instead of the Arctic.
No, I mean, thankfully, the first thing that comes up is the Amityville Horror, the original film,
yeah.
so that's good. Amityville No Escape, the Amityville Terror.
Ooh, that's close. You're getting there.
Anyway.
Yeah.
This is not the Amityville podcast, though. What?
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if they have any Amityville Sutek stuff.
Oh, wow. Jumping us right in.
She's gonna make good on my promise that it's gonna be a short show.
Oh,
I try every episode.
Well, hold on now. Was there other things we watched or did?
Well, I mean, what are you thinking of? I mean, like we dipped our toe into the political nonsense, but is there anything that you're particularly jiving with on The Boys? Because I'm enjoying how it opened. I really am digging most of the character stuff right now. Like they're taking Homelander in an interesting direction. It's not totally new, but it's interesting. I was like, oh, how do you continue to make this guy weird? Just make him old.
First off, oh yeah, the old home. Yeah, I like that. I like he's hitting midlife crisis, which is I like that angle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Faucet asks us to describe what happened in the Vagina Alien zombie movie.
What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
It started off as a zombie movie, which you then later discover the zombies. You become a zombie because this woman has an alien in her vagina that attacks people and makes them zombies. That's the movie basically.
Okay.
Yep.
It was just really
bad. But then
bad.
the other people then now have aliens in their vaginas?
No, they're just zombies.
Okay, so the only way to make a zombie though is just this one woman.
I think so. Yes.
That's a really slow apocalypse.
Now, this was kind of early-ish on in the like zombie resurgence of the aughts, I guess you could say. It was after, I mean, it was after it started. I'm pretty sure Walking Dead was on air, like early seasons, like the hype was real. And I was still of the opinion that there were no bad zombie movies. Even the bad ones are at least usually entertaining in some way. That movie changed my opinion. And I was like, nope. And yeah, the genre's different now. The genre's different to me
And
now.
so is Randy. Randy's been forever changed.
I've been forever changed by alien zombie vagina movie.
I don't even want to know what it's really called anymore. I just
We have Chicago Fawcett. They say there was a movie in the 90s called Puppet Master that was kind of sort of like that. We have, you could say, a puppet master. I would call him an aficionado.
I would call him a puppet master enthusiast.
Oh,
Yeah.
appropriate callback.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah, I
You're
was
right.
gonna say. I bet I've got a puppet master movie within arm's reach. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's behind something. But yeah, I've been known to watch a few puppet master movies in my time.
That first,
I sound
that
like
first
I'm proud of it.
I don't know about you, but I'm something of a puppet master enthusiast myself. No,
You know, there's a puppet that like spews leeches on you. It's cool. That's a power. It's a
Isn't that
feature
what's
and a
supposed
bug. Not really a bug. Not technically a bug. More like a leech.
Isn't she supposed to be his wife or something? That one.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, the lore with Puppet Master changes so often too.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched all the new ones. You know, like in the 90s, I watched as many of them as I could. But now there's a whole bunch of new ones, and I have not seen all the new ones. I did watch the most recent kind of reboot or whatever. Well, I say most recent. I actually don't know if that's true or not, but it was interesting and weird too. It was like all the different iterations of the puppets. So like all these people who had collected the puppets over time come to like almost like a convention. It was almost very like Curse of Chucky, like where it's like all of the Chuckies are now attacking everyone. And it was the kind of the same deal. It's like all of the puppets, every version of Blade ever is now attacking.
Cool.
And every version of Pinhead and every version of
Why not? Like, that
which I love.
cinematic
There's a Pinhead.
universe-
You know, like when I say Pinhead, I mean the puppet with really big body and a tiny head. Everybody else means something else.
right?
It means Hellraiser, which also went to crap.
right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Some would
I
even
was-
say
I
it
was-
went to hell. Yeah.
Hello, Helix Rock Radio. This is what you're in for. I'd actually say so
the
far.
Puppet Masters. Yeah, that's totally different. That was like a Body Snatchers type of movie. That was like an alien thing.
Oh.
I was gonna say, I thought Puppet Master was older than the 90s, but maybe not.
A little early.
Probably early.
Puppet
90s.
Master felt like a 1990 movie. Maybe 89. I feel like it was 90. It looks like a 90s movie, like an early 90s movie.
Oh yeah,
It had that crappy
budget and
synth
whatnot.
score, that specific, what is like a wave station or something. I don't know. There's a certain. I was looking this up just the other day because when I was watching, I mentioned it last week. The horror show or House 3. The music, and I'm like, oh, it's got the like B grade, early 90s synth music, but not like cool synth music. And for whatever reason, like I just have such a bad association with it. It's just like, ugh. And I was looking it up, and I was like, "What synth is it? I have to know," because it was a Korg wave station. They were all using it back in the day. Not that anybody really cares about that, but Puppet Master, what year?
1989.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it had to be about that
Puppet
time.
Master 2 came out in 1990 on the button.
Those early, that certain period, it's the film stock, right? Like you can kind of, it just has early 90s, late 80s, but early 90s movies, especially kind of lower budget movies, used a specific film stock. The colors just look a certain way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right when they're starting to change over from film to video a little bit, but video's not good yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
It's not like HD, it's not HD yet, but it's
There was a Friday the 13th. It was Jason Goes to Hell.
is that the
In
one?
which, that's the one where, it's like a weird demon leech that hops between people's bodies is what makes Jason in that. And yeah, they go real classy towards the end. That movie, God, man. I don't mind the look of that. The Chicago Fire. That was a show. That was a show I used to watch, I think.
Chicago Fire. See,
Was it?
Yeah.
That was like, it was that and ER. And of course, ER was the one that stuck around for a long time. But, or maybe that was Chicago Hope. I'm getting it all mixed up. Chicago Fawcett said, maybe it's nostalgia, but I like that kind of film stock. Yeah, the film stock's fine. It's just if it's a low budget movie, especially low budget like suspense or horror or erotic thriller, that was like the age of erotic thrillers that hit like cable and stuff. The scores were terrible.
Yeah.
Oh man, Chicago Fawcett's bringing us the deep cuts of the 90s now. The Last Boy Scout, you remember that one?
Oh yeah.
I know it was Keenan. Was it Keenan?
Yeah, Keenan Ivory Wayne's trying to be an action hero.
Yeah. And who was he? Buddy
Bruce
buddy
Willis.
copping with?
Bruce Willis.
It was Bruce Willis. That's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That it felt like they used some expired film on that on purpose. I don't know why they do that, but it does have that feel. Yeah. Like it was like they were shooting for that 80s movie kind of look. So
Yeah,
I've seen that movie a lot for whatever reason.
me too, but I know why. So it's because my friend had a crush on Bruce Willis, and I was like, "You're gross." It's gross. But then again, I can't really say much because I had a crush on the Quantum Leap guy. So there you go.
Bakula? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
She likes a schnoz. A schnoz.
I do. That's my type. I don't know how I ended up with you.
Picture Gavin Free from the Slow Mo Guys. That's her type. So
Yeah.
what? What? Anyway. Okay, hey. That's like Doctor Who. Nailed the segue.
Sure is. Boy, oh boy. We've really just been traveling through time. You know who else travels through time?
The Doctor.
He
and
does.
his companion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or companions.
In a TARDIS or a S-Triad.
Okay, let's get into this. So we're talking about The Legend of Ruby Rose, which is aired last week.
Ruby Sunday, you mean?
Ruby Rose?
Ruby Road.
That's a Stephen King.
Is it Ruby Road?
Ruby
It's
Road
the
is
Legend
where
of
she was
Ruby.
left. She was
Yeah,
left
but
at
no.
church on Ruby Road. So I don't
It's
know.
Ruby Tuesday. Holy crap, what happened to us?
Ruby Tuesday.
Ruby Sunday, yeah.
Oh, Tuesday was the one soldier lady's name. And the Doctor's like, you get married to be Sunday or Tuesday, Sunday, whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, you know what show I'm talking about. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
The second to the last episode of this current season.
Yeah.
There was some confusion. People were thinking that was it. I was like, oh yeah, that would have been a horrible
really?
cliffhanger, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
I think it's probably the 8 idea, because if you think of that last special as episode 1, then this would look like episode 8. But
Oh, you're right. Yeah, and Disney Plus anyway lumped, even though it's like was also categorized as its own separate special, lumped that as the first episode of the season.
Yeah.
Which I guess kind of makes sense.
It is,
yeah,
in a sense. Yeah.
What'd you guys think? Like, they really, my initial impression, first off, it had the clip I've been waiting for that was in the trailer where he opens the TARDIS and is like, give me the lovin'. That's fun.
Yeah.
But the opening felt like kind of like, oh yeah, look, that spells TARDIS. Oh, it's Susan. We know that, you dum-dum. That's what it felt like. It's right. Congratulations, internet. You figured out our stupid little anagrams for you. You've been chasing your own tails. Yeah, just...
Oh, you caught our red herring, did you?
Right. Like, right off the bat, and I was very amused by that.
Yeah, it was very meta. There was a lot of fun meta stuff in this episode where it's like, oh no, I plan on being around a long time. It's like, I felt like that was a little bit of them trolling the audience or the haters, you know. They're like, oh, you don't like it, Judy? Well, he's going to be here a while. Even if he isn't, he's going to tell you he is.
Right. Okay. So what did you guys... I don't know how to approach this. We don't have to really like go through all the like plot points or anything, but I guess first off, what'd you think? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it?
I liked parts of it. There's other stuff that I didn't care so much for.
Yeah, I was gonna say overall I liked it.
I did not like the boy genius.
Nope.
Did not care for him at all.
Nope.
I'm glad we're all in agreement on that. Yeah, I didn't care for him either. Too cutesy. Like, it kind of drives me crazy. It's like, we don't need that character, man.
Yeah.
Yep. And it felt like a high percentage of a trap for the haters. It was like, that's a hater trap. I see it. 95% chance of trap. I am that hater. You caught me.
It's interesting. I mean, RTD is not above going cutesy.
Oh no.
In fact, this whole thing, like, this definitely reeks, not in a bad way, but it reeks of RTD like finale. He likes to go over the top.
Oh yeah.
But I have noticed this season there's a lot more little like Moffatisms that's worked its way into RTD's Doctor Who, and I think that's kind of interesting. Because Moffat liked to go cutesy with various characters and stuff.
I kind of loved actually the stuff with the Sue lady. Especially when she was kind of like losing her stuff during the teleprompter reading. That was great. And it was kind of creepy. I enjoyed all that. Yeah. But then, like, the payoff of it was not all that wonderful for me. And, I mean, I do recall Sutek from the past, but even I wasn't especially impressed with it then. And I was even less impressed with it now with the weird cartoon dog on top of the TARDIS. That was ridiculous. And what is Sutek supposed to be? The TARDIS or the chick or what? Where is he? What's going on?
So he's attached himself to the TARDIS, right? Is that what we're meant to believe?
Yeah.
But he now that he's got the power of the TARDIS and maybe the Eye of Harmony and all of that at his disposal, he can just like latch on to different things. Well, specifically, he latched on to two things. He latched on to whatever this Sue Triad, that's her name, right? Susan Triad.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know where the connection is there.
Yes,
she is the connection.
Correct.
She's the through line through this whole season. She's apparently supposed to be our anagram to understand that Sutek is coming. But beyond that, she's the Harbinger character, but then there is a Harbinger character.
Right.
Yeah.
She definitely confuses it, and I overall I liked it quite a bit, but man, there's some cheese.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of manipulation. Like
Oh yeah.
RTD's been doing this second era of RTD is all about viewer manipulation, I feel like.
Sometimes
But
it goes real. Sometimes it's really good.
yeah, right. It's not. Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing. He used to do that too, like intentional red herrings that end up like not going anywhere, which in a way is kind of disappointing if you're like outside of the meta, of the moment, right? Like anyway, there's still like oh man, he better follow through on some of this stuff because that Harriet Bringer, I don't know. Yeah, the Harbinger. That was his Harbinger. So, and none of the other Harbingers have been like the Susan Triad thing where she keeps appearing everywhere, which she's dreaming about apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she's
she
human
just
because they
doesn't.
checked her,
Right.
Right,
So she's
she's
a human.
human. So I hope, even if it's just like not anything significant, if it's just, I just hope she's not just, I don't know. I hope she's something. I hope that's something that's not just like to set up his return.
Right.
Or obviously it is, but
to keep our eye on that instead of what they were doing over here.
Yeah.
Especially since they made her all gross and zombified.
The weird skull. Not really. It's like a skull. It's too big to be like their skull. It's like a skull helmet grafted onto their face. It's
Just
a weird
to give
design.
them extended brows and deep hooded eyes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did like. I like the idea of, since we already mentioned. Yeah, it's Sutek. Everybody knows. Sorry if we spoiled it for you. But,
yeah, they've been spoiling it. Like, I had to
Right.
watch it before Holly came home from her trip because I was like, they're gonna have full blown spoilers on the Doctor Who page before the end of the week, and they did.
I was glad. Yeah. Well, we waited till Sunday night, but I had managed to avoid hardcore spoilers, which is good, over the weekend. So they've been somewhat courteous, but all week I've seen nothing but those headlines. So
when you had dove into some of the theories, and so
right.
was this much of a surprise to you? Because you had floated this idea, I think, on the last stream, or if not on the stream, after we got done I don't know if we talked about it on camera or off camera, but you had talked about how the anagram people were floating that it could be Sutek.
Yeah, that was the one I was like, not far-fetched, but it seemed
unlikely because it's so classic.
Yeah, less likely. Yeah, exactly. As opposed to like, the TARDIS anagram was obvious, but like something with that, something with Susan.
In hindsight,
but then when
it makes sense because like I had told you guys when we watched the Maestro episode, the only other time I can think of the Doctor basically doing almost like a paradox kind of jump, like jumping into the future and seeing what would happen if they lose, was the pyramids of Mars.
Right.
And that was Sutek. It was like, this is what happens if we don't stop him. I think it was Sarah Jane was the companion.
Yeah, it was Sarah Jane. Yep.
It's like, this is what happens. And she's like aghast because she's like, well, this never happened. And he's like, but well, let's look. See, now it has happened.
Yeah, we watched a clip of it where they when they looked out the door, it was
Whip It,
Men at
or
Work
it was
video.
Devo. Oh, okay.
Was
Okay.
it?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
It was some 1980 ridiculous song music video playing, and that cut to the reaction of Sarah Jane and whoever. There was a man with them too. I don't remember who it was, but
Harry
was pretty
wasn't still with
hilarious.
them, was he?
Who?
It was probably just like a one-off companion, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I was looking at that season and I was like, dang, that season was a weird season, because that's the same. I mean, like, and they've been pulling from the same season a lot lately, like Brain and Morbius. That's what they were pulling from in Chibnall to say, oh, well, the Doctor's had other iterations that he just doesn't even remember, like that was part of the brainchild for the Timeless Children. And then now we've got the Pyramids of Mars, and now it's like, what other weird stuff is going to pop up from that season, or the Fourth Doctor era, which was already bonkers.
That's interesting. I wonder what year that was. What year, or yeah, around what years that season was, and cross reference with Chibnall and RTD's age and when they were kids, right?
I mean, thinking about it, it's like that's pretty peak era for anyone as old or a little bit older than me.
Right.
Like, that's the Doctor I remember, and my one of my core memories is the Master controlling oh god, what was the name of the thing? It was his TARDIS, but it was just the statue that was out in front of now it's that final season of Tom Baker.
Right.
Malik, so I don't know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, is this weird looking statue with the weird eyes, but it's really the Master the whole time, and the Master's grand scheme is just still the one gal's dad's body to turn into Anthony Ainsley. That's his grand master plan.
I think next we're gonna have to have a whole bunch of cults start showing up. That's like the only thing they haven't revisited much.
Yeah,
because I know there used to be a whole bunch of cults back in the day.
They don't do it a lot.
Yeah,
I feel like that like witchy group of ladies that would show up and resurrected
whatever. Yeah.
They get touched on once in a while in both RTD and Moffat's runs, but I would say usually for some nonsense. Until towards the end of Moffat's run, he used them kind of interestingly, I guess. They were like, I don't know. Weird, interesting, like, relationship with the Time Lords they had worked out or something.
I think it would be fun if they brought in, was it Jago and Lightfoot from Talons of Wang Chiang? It'd be fun if they brought back the one guy who's still survive, like who's still around.
Right. It is a little surprising to me. I mean, not that like RTD didn't pull from Classic Who, but that he is pulling kind of so heavily from Classic Who, because wasn't really his style the first go around.
No.
I mean, he pulled a lot of monsters, but like I feel like Moffat even did that more. Like he brought back the
Zygons?
Martians, the Zygons,
the Ice Warriors, yeah.
Ice Warriors. That's what I was looking for. And not that RTD didn't, like new season, new series started with the Autons,
so it's
stuff.
like
right. But yeah, it traditionally, and maybe they shied away from it, or maybe it's like, well, now it's time. Everybody's doing member berries, so we got to do it. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
I liked all the lead up stuff with Susan too. Like they were really giving him some things to react off of. Like he was,
I will say one thing.
And they were dealing with death a lot in this episode, so it should have been just like, whoa, little on the nose there, guys.
The Doctor, I was gonna say he was pretty emotional, but he wasn't until it was too late. He got that soldier killed. He straight up got that soldier killed, and after that, he's pretty emotional the rest of the episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And same with Kate. But I lost track of where I was gonna go with it.
I still don't see how it ties into Ruby at all. Really.
Oh,
I mean,
this didn't explain anything.
Explain that, but
right. Yeah.
the
Well,
legend
hopefully
of
we'll find out more.
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, there were certain things I didn't like, but overall, I really enjoyed the like tense horror vibe. The whole sequence with the time window,
Yeah, that was cool.
which is like really a time room, but
Yeah.
a time holodeck. That sequence was super cool. I thought I liked it. It was tense, except for having to cut to the Boy Genius for computer updates.
Right.
And the fact that it didn't really answer anything in terms of the Ruby stuff. I'm assuming we're getting that tomorrow, next episode.
That's where I started to think, oh, maybe it is Sutek. It's when everything started turning into sand, you know. It's like all the particles are flying around and whatnot, and it's all black and red. And then, you know, that guy just turned into sand, a block of sand that blew away.
Mm-hmm. And then the Sutek reveal was pretty awesome.
It was great, and it was the original guy too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
that's what
original.
I like. I hope they continue down this vein of not just recasting people, but using the people that are still around. I mean, sure, go ahead and recast people that are gone.
Right.
I mean, not willy-nilly. I mean, it's got to be cool, like David Bradley, but
right.
you know.
Boy Genius is gonna play the second Doctor. I heard. No,
Oh, I hope not. Oh boy.
Not even just a doctor, a specific doctor. I wish they would have gave more of his arriving speech to him, because they had the Harbinger deliver most of the initial speech, but I really do like some of that speech talking about whispering and seducing the vessel, and the vessel did listen, and whatever, like Sutek manipulating that TARDIS, and you watch out. I think Sutek's a love him leave him kind of guy.
Don't you break her heart.
I liked some of the language there. It was pretty cool speech. Dude, I love that. I have not gone back to watch Pyramids of Mars since, and I know tons of people have, and I know the Tales from the TARDIS that aired today was doing. If you're in the UK, you can watch it on BBC iPlayer, but we're not. But Tales of the TARDIS, I talked about it last week, is basically like so far the first official spin-off show, even though it's really just kind of like a setting up classic episodes, re-airings of classic episodes. But 15 and Ruby were in the memory TARDIS. I did see on YouTube their opening, and it was pretty lame compared to all the others so far. Like, they're just like in there sitting there talking, and it's like, oh, you're not actually going to tie this into the episode at all, really. But they did like you know how they'll do like a cut down, a fan edit, except it's not. It's an official edit, BBC edit or whatever, of a serial into like one not quite movie, maybe movie length thing, and they remastered Pyramids of Mars and new visual effects, I guess. But my point is, I did go onto YouTube and rewatch the one scene. I think the reason in my mind Sutek is an awesome villain is for the one scene in Pyramids of Mars where it's the whole like, maybe your evil is my good.
Oh yeah.
Because the way he like whispers is, I'm Sutek the Destroyer. Whatever, I go to everything turns into dust, and I find that good. But man, that vocal delivery, that line read, it is amazing, and that's, in my mind, what makes him that one single scene was what made him such an awesome villain. So it is super cool that they got the guy who I believe I heard is like 91
Yeah,
to do the voice, and I anticipate lots more of cool Sutek talkings next episode.
I hope so. I suppose they'll do. They may limit it, but like, man, when it's really him, it just nails it. You know, like they did that very cleverly, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think Ruby's mom's a bad word, because it feels like
biological
she
mom, yeah.
left her kid there just so she could be like, "Hey, there's Sutek, go get him." And if that's the case, that's not a good reason to leave your kid.
Right.
Well, I mean, the doctor mentions that his memory of this keeps changing, so the moment keeps changing, and I mean, whatever. It's gonna get timey-wimey because, like, was the doctor there the first time she left her there? I don't know.
Also,
but then he
was Flood.
Right.
We got some reveal on that. She's not totally on the up and up. We didn't think she was, but she really isn't.
They made her seem super ominous, and I still think it could be a trick. And that's one of those like cheap, like fake outs that I don't like. That RTD he's not beyond, but there is interesting, specific wording, because earlier in the episode, also Ruby did not know about regenerations yet. So when the doctor is explaining regenerations to her, one of the things he says is like, we can heal ourselves or change our faces, whatever, when we're dying or whatever. But he says specifically to hide ourselves away.
Right.
And when Mrs. Flood pops up in the first scene of this, she comes in, she's like, I'm always, and she almost like hams up the delivery, very specifically says, I'm always hiding myself away. Like, it's like, so is that like confirmation? Like, okay, yeah, definitely, probably a Time Lord. Definitely, probably. Or
it's the Ronnie.
Or is that going to be misdirect?
Could be the monk. Could be the meddling monk.
The meddling monk?
Yeah.
Also, I did not watch much of Sarah Jane Adventures, but they mentioned the trickster is one of the gods. Like the Harbinger speech rattles off several characters. The trickster being one of them, and that was I think a major character from Sarah Jane Adventures. So, yeah.
Who was the guy with the bird on his head? I can't remember.
The Guardian, the Black Guardian.
Black Guardian, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He was ridiculous.
You can't forget a guy that's got a bird on his head. That's for sure.
Nope.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Can I get a little Omega?
Is that the guy that jumped into a black hole?
Or was that Rassilon?
Rassilon.
Oh, yeah, that's Rassilon.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, what was Omega? Omega was like a Gallifreyan thing too. But wasn't Omega like locked away in Gallifrey's vaults or something?
How did Rassilon come back anyway? Because wasn't he also then like kind of their leader when they were tucked away in the pocket universe?
Oh yeah.
After the Time War or whatever.
Yeah, he came back a few. That's the thing about Rassilon. He comes back whenever he feels like it.
Yeah.
Like so, he just sits. He just lays in a casket like Odin sometimes. Like in the Five-ish Doctors, not even the Five-ish Doctors, the Five Doctors. Don't they go down there to Rassilon's tomb and whatnot? But it's not even a tomb because he comes back later.
Probably because I remember when he popped up in the new series, I was like, wait, I thought he was like old, dead, like legendary. It don't matter. You can't get too bogged down in canon of the show. Question. Sutek, okay, pretty cool. Does it make any sense? Does it? That's a question. Does it make any sense that it's Sutek?
It only makes sense because of the whole gods thing that they've been playing with all season.
So are the gods though? Because Sutek was godlike in power, but otherwise still just an alien.
That's true. That's a good point.
He was an alien, powerful alien who's like their wars inspired the art, the mythology or whatever. But then does that distinction really even matter? Like, if they're as powerful as gods, I mean,
Yeah, then they probably hang out with gods, and then they all talk, and they're like, "Oh, guess who I saw the other day?" And then he's like, "Ah, I'm gonna go holla." And that's just how it is.
But it's just like Thor and Odin and all of them in Marvel, right? Like, so they're gods, but are they gods, or are they really just advanced aliens that have
right,
rainbow
right?
bridge,
That's a good point. I'm so curious to. I'm so curious as to what's going to happen.
I think that's the magic, and I think that's the sign that this is Doctor Who going the correct direction, because we're actually excited about it. We're not dreading it, and we may get a classic RTD overreach, but
yeah,
we're excited right now.
I feel like we so are. That's my hesitation. In the future, I feel like this episode will be viewed differently depending on what happens next episode.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Occasionally, like what was there? There's the Heaven Sent, Hell Bent, like two-parter where one's like not so favorable, but the other one's like a masterpiece, right?
The setup was amazing. It's the end where it's like, President of the World? Cyberbrig? What?
Oh, I forgot about Cyberbrig. But then there are other two-parters where it's like, I guess that wasn't a two-part. Some of the John Sim master ridiculous over-the-top season finales from RTD era was like some of his worst work.
Oh yeah. The way that he ended those two arcs in particular with John Sims were bad.
Yeah.
I'd say End of Time, or was it End of Time? Yeah, End of Time was bad from beginning to end, really. The best part of End of Time was having Wilf. That's the main reason to watch that.
Right. But I mean, that said, still, it's been awesome having First off, it's been awesome not having a whole season of musicals like I was worried we were gonna have. I was so concerned, dude. Oh, because we had musical numbers essentially the first 2 out of 3 episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
But
and then you had Jonathan Groff, who's notable for being in Glee and in musicals.
Yes, exactly. But it's been nice having at least the Doctor. I wish we didn't have so many Dr. Light episodes in such a short season, because like we still like need to dive it more into the Doctor character, like, whatever. The first few episodes I was like, yeah, this Doctor's super interesting, but then like after that it's kind of light on him a little bit.
Yeah.
But all the like meta mind games RTDs likes to play with the audience has been awesome. I don't know, just thinking about when we were
one of my favorite lines in this episode was a meta nod, and it was like, why haven't you gone back to see Susan? Why don't you just go back and say hi? He's like, I don't want to mess her up. I don't want to ruin her.
Right.
And I was like, he's not in character right now. That's RTD saying he doesn't want to mess with the Susan character.
That's pretty good. That's a good point. Yeah. You risk, like, if, especially bringing her into, like, I don't know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't come across right. Well, yeah. Like bringing characters back for Tales of the TARDIS, that's fine. They're just having conversations. You can give certain characters closure. That's different.
Sure.
But having them part of the story or whatever, progressing their plot, their story essentially. I did want to mention the Susan thing. I find it ridiculous that he thought she might have been Susan, because okay, the TARDIS anagram, fine, maybe based on the TARDIS anagram is where he's got, but then, but then like Ruby's even like, but Doctor, her name is Susan. It's like, do you know how many Susans have been? Like, just her name is Susan.
Right.
That's it. Based solely. Does every Susan the Doctor comes across, he's like, oh, she could be my granddaughter. Like, it's so ridiculous to think about. Like, just based solely on that. And I guess whatever. There's the TARDIS, and she's genius and stuff. But like, that seemed like nonsense. But it also seemed like RTD knew people were going to be expecting that. Like, it was intentionally set up.
He had seeded that throughout the season.
Yeah. Like he's like, I don't have to earn it. I've already earned it.
Yeah.
The internet conspiracy theory of Doctor Who forums and web YouTube channels, they've earned it for me. I don't need to go work any harder for that.
Right.
I don't like that they talked about she's his granddaughter, but he hasn't had kids yet or whatever.
Oh yeah, they did
because
muddy that.
That worries me that they're going to try to bring River Song back at some point, and I don't want that. I can't stand River Song, and yeah, it just needs to not happen.
People like
River Song. Should have just been like, yeah, that was something that happened a long time ago. I don't know.
But he's already had his last meeting with River Song like 3 times already. How can there be more?
Right.
Because it's timey-wimey stuff, right?
Time travelers are the best. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I think it's super interesting of a concept that he was bumming around with his granddaughter and he's never met his children yet because he hasn't had them. Like, how does that scenario even come about?
Yeah.
But also, it is, I'm not worried. It's just like, it's going to become another, like, he may never touch that again. He may never touch that again and just leave it for Big Finish or future showrunners, or RTD novels down the road, because he's gonna do that. But
well, so then is there the Doctor's daughter Jenny? Like, is she out there making Susans?
Oh,
but he's already met her.
Right.
The other thing that I feel like contradicts it is, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure other versions of the Doctor, and I want to say Matt Smith specifically, I think it was during the Moffat era, has talked about being a dad. And I know there's been mention of Susan before, and that make him a grandfather, but I think there's been talk of him being a dad. So this seems, come on, man. Like, I get if you're gonna trip into a plot hole from 40 years ago, but at least keep the new series consistency a little bit tight.
Yeah. Now I have to go find somebody who actually pays attention to everything and ask them.
They're online.
You know what? That sounds amazing.
It is amazing. You know what else is amazing?
What's amazing?
Galaxies. Specifically disk type galaxies, and like which would include spirals like the Milky Way that we live in. But some scientists checked the speeds that they were spinning on hundreds of disk type galaxies and discovered something strange. So the smaller galaxies spin slower and the larger galaxies spin faster, so that no matter the size of the galaxy, all of the disk type galaxies complete a full rotation at right around 1 billion years. They don't know why, but they checked it and double checked it, and it holds true. 1 billion years for one rotation.
Huh.
Yep.
So
it's
they
amazing.
Spin right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby.
Okay.
Round.
I was waiting. There's got to be like, I didn't have anything to add to it. Any like witty nothing. Jesse had us there. Good.
It's a strange thing, and they don't know why.
That is strange.
You know what else is strange? I'm just stuck on segues
Randy.
now.
Doctor Strange?
Yes.
We don't have any news there, but yeah.
No, we don't.
You know what else is strange? This was supposed to be a short episode, and look at us. Over an hour.
Look at us. Always an hour, at least.
This is a short episode, though.
Yeah.
Our average is an hour and 30.
That's true.
Regardless what we think or what we say, the reality is this is an hour and a half long show, typically. But you're right. Let's end this.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesse, how was Pretendicon, by the way?
Oh, Pretendicon. Did I talk about that last week? I don't know.
You had your like booth set up in your.
Oh, I still had it set up, didn't I? That's right. I had to take it down just so I could watch TV. Yeah, it was good. So one of the reasons I set that up is that I've got a con coming up. PretZCon in July, like towards the end of July there. I think it's the 19th, 20th, and 21st. And they just announced, it's funny, I just got in and they just announced it's the last one they're doing. You're welcome, guys. I killed the con. I did it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, no, I mean, I'm glad that I'm going. I'm glad I'll get to experience it. But like one of the reasons that I go to a new con is to see if I like it, you know, see if I might do it again.
Right.
Well, I guess I'm not gonna, because they're not going to have another one. So, but I mean, it'll help me to decide if I want to do more shows like this, because there are other cons that are like game cons. Like Nuke Con would be another one that would be like this. So.
Yeah. And sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt, but I was just going to say, Omaha Arts Festival, this is our last year.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, I don't know what's up with that.
It's a good run. It was a good run. That's too bad. I always liked it. I mean, it's not always my kind of art, but it's cool that they did it, and they block off, like, downtown Omaha, and, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bummer. I just realized that my mute button doesn't actually mute me on the radio. That sucks a little bit.
Oh, so every time you have muted yourself to
vaping,
like cough or whatever,
cough,
all the burps are making it their way to Helix Rock Radio.
All my disgusting body sounds. Anyway. Okay, well, hey, anything else we want to mention before we jump out of here tonight?
So many Humble Bundles, guys. So many.
Yeah.
I think there's still a Ninja Turtle one. There's definitely a The Boys one. There was one I saw that I thought of you, where I was like, oh, there's a bunch of synth something or others.
I did see they've got another one of those going.
So, always Grawlixpodcast.com/humble. Look at that. Check out the bundles. Help us out.
Yep, we're a humble partner. We'll get a kickback. Doesn't cost you any extra. We get a kickback, see?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, and if you're not interested in any of that, just go to grawlixpodcast.com. Knock the humble off there. You don't have to be humble. Just go to grawlixpodcast.com.
Yeah. Or go to abyss.show.
Abyss.show. Go to rockradio.live.
Yeah.
Go to electronicmediacollective.com.
Go to all the places. That's what we do. This is how we end the show. We just give you a bunch of links. I hope you have a notepad, because we just say the links. We don't actually provide them.
We're not putting them in the show notes, neither.
Nope. Show notes.
Show notes. What?
That's straight from a podcast editor right there. Like, if I go with show notes, yeah, I know who's writing those. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, awesome. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching Helix Rock Radio. What'd you think? You loved it. We'll be back. I'm telling you.
You loved it. It was good. Every minute of it. Timey-wimey.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend and all that stuff. Thursdays can get bent.
They can.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, off radio. We're still streaming.
Normally,
but we're off the radio. I can't believe I wasn't muting myself the whole time. I mean, it's just the vape sounds, but this thing can be so loud. It's just like...
Oh, so you were drowning us out potentially, yeah.
Probably. Oh, that sucks. That was supposed to be my good recording too that I was gonna use for the replay. Anyway, bye everybody. Have a great weekend.